it's Aiden from AJ the Twins, and today I'm doing a topic video because I have a lot of people asking me questions like how I knew I was transgender, so I thought why not do a video about it. So I'm actually 15 weeks on T, just to remind you, which is pretty good. So how did I know I was transgender? I'll start from my childhood. Growing up, I didn't know what the word gay was, and then if I didn't know what the word gay was, I didn't know what the word transgender was. So when I was growing up, gay was gay wasn't a bad word. It was never mentioned. Um, I have a mom and two older sisters, and it was just three of us. I mean, the four of us actually, and those and that wasn't really so. We never once mentioned anything gay or anything that involves transgenderism, anything like that. So, so when I was growing up, um, I was a tomboy. I was playing football. I was really good at sports. I was playing with the boys a lot. I used to dress in boyish clothing and short hair. I hated wearing a skirt. Hated it. Um, uh, I used to. What did I used to? I used to take my shirt off everywhere, which was really embarrassing. Which now I think about it, it's really embarrassing. I think, what did I think of? But then I thought I was a boy, so I thought it was natural to take off your shirt off. So yeah, so that's what happened. I was growing up and I thought I was a boy, but I wasn't. So my mom had to remind me that no, you're a girl. So I was thinking, okay, fine. Um, my two older sisters were, when they were growing up, they went through a phase of being very tomboyish, and they grew out of it. So me being the youngest, my mom thought the same thing was happening to me. So she just like brushed it aside, like it's only normal, it's only natural that I'm going through it, so I'm just gonna get over it. But it didn't really happen to me, so um, yeah. Uh, Another thing was when I was so I'm just trying to remember when I was growing up. Um, I used to hate being called a tomboy because it never felt right. It just felt like it was a lie. Um, like it just felt like it wasn't right at all. Like I should have been a boy. I don't need to be a tomboy. I don't need to act like a tomboy. I am a boy. So those were two different things, I had to deal with. Um, I wasn't picked on, but I was, um, I, I was called a tomboy a lot. So everyone knew me as a tomboy. So that's my childhood. So, um, I used to pray to God to turn me into a boy, and when He wouldn't, I kind of lost faith in Him, and which is really interesting because I went to a trans group and there was a girl there, and she said that when I told her that I used to pray to God to turn me into a boy, she said maybe because God didn't turn you into a boy back then, maybe He's changing you right now. And I thought that's kind of interesting. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Um, but I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so back to the topic. So that was my childhood, and then when I hit puberty, I was wondering why I didn't have a male genitalia and why I was growing breasts. Um, but and I was thinking, why are the other boys having female chests? So that's when it started to hurt me that I was never gonna be a real boy. I was I was always just gonna be a tomboy. Um, but what was really interesting was when I hit my puberty. I personally think I went through a phase of being really girly, where I tried to fit in with the rest of the girls, trying to act all the behavior like with the girls, like stuff and wear makeup, wear girly clothing and stuff like that. But when I go into shops, even back then, as soon as I entered a clothing store, I instantly looked my where the men's department was because it was just like a natural instinct. Um, but yeah, it was just this video doesn't make sense. But yeah, so when I was went hit through puberty, I was thinking that maybe I should fit in with the rest of the girls. So, and my two older sisters, when they snapped out of their girly phase, I mean tomboyish phase, uh, they they became quite trendy. They used to wear really trendy clothing and stuff like that. So they knew how to dress really nicely. So I had that standard of I had to reach that standard like my sisters because it was only natural that I had to follow my sister's footsteps because they're both so they're both so pretty. They know how to dress their clothing. They know how to do their makeup and their hair. And I was thinking, I have to do the same thing. But you know, I think that's when it hit me that I don't really wanted to do that kind of stuff. I hated it. Um, I tried to like it, but I just hated it. And back then, I didn't know anything about that I could change my sex or anything like that. So I had to put up with that front that I enjoyed it when I really didn't. Um, so yeah, when I got ill when I was about 13, 14, and what happened was it took me out of mainstream school, and I couldn't go to school at all because I was in constant pain. It affected my walking and affected my bones and my muscles, so I couldn't do anything really except be in pain. And one of the things that happens with my illness is that it flares up on my skin. So what I did was I used to wear really baggy clothing from the men's department to hide my skin. I mean now I don't need to wear it because my skin is fine. But before when it does flare up, I have to hide my skin really. And when I was living at home, my mum thought it was only natural for me to do that because she thought, okay, I'm just scared about people seeing my skin, so I'm wearing these kind of clothing. So, so she kind of helped me in that sense of way to hide my skin, but she didn't know that inside I was really enjoying wearing men's clothing. I was actually really liking it. So, yeah. So about so as I was taken out of mainstream school, I didn't have any social interactions with kids my own age because I was constantly going to doctors and hospitals and seeing these officials and stuff like that. So I didn't get to have a normal teenhood, if that makes sense. So um, what happened was I started looking online for. At that time, I was questioning my sexuality because I knew I had attraction to females, and I knew that. Hang on a minute, I'm attracted to females, but my body is female, but my mind is a boy. So I thought, obviously, you can't change your sex, so you have to be gay. So, so I thought, okay, I'm gay, but I wasn't really gay. So I didn't know at that point again that you could change your sex. So what I did was I started identifying myself as gay, and I joined up uh, a group called QIN or Queer Youth Network, and I was online, and then I found out they do these meets, which is they meet in Hyde Park and you socialize with other LGBT. So I was thinking, okay, I should meet them. I haven't met anyone my age for a while, so maybe it'd be interesting to see them. So I went out, and when I was able to, and I went to one of their meets, and that's when I met my first female to male transsexual, and my first male to female transsexual as well, or transgender, sorry. And I was thinking, wait, you can do that, like that's possible. And I just thought, okay, there's some girls who like to dress up as men, and that's okay, or have very boyish haircuts and wear boyish clothing. That's okay, but I didn't think you could actually change your sex like that. And I was really intrigued, so I was thinking, hang on a minute. And when after meeting them, I was thinking, wow, they're super friendly. Everything's so nice about them. The group was friendly as well. So it was a nice experience. And then I went home and I started researching about transgender and what it means. And I started reading books. I was looking online. I was watching YouTube videos. And I was thinking, and then a light bulb clicked off my head, and I was like, hang on a minute. Everything that's happening right that says about transgender people is me. This is how I'm feeling. This is how I should be. So I was thinking, so that means I'm transgender. So what I did was, I started asking some of my closest friends, that, can you call me Dylan? That was a name that I chose. Well, I didn't choose that name. My friend Sky chose that name for me. And I said, can you call me Dylan? And I'm testing this out to see if I feel comfortable with him. So that's what I did. So I don't know if a lot of people can remember me asking them to call me Dylan, but yeah, that's what I did. And um, and yeah, that's what happened. They called me Dylan, and I was really enjoying the role. And I was thinking, this feels natural. This is how I should be. So what I did, I came out to my mom, and that was a really interesting experience because before I came out to my mom as gay, and I came out to her 3 times, and three different occasions, and she just thought it was a phase that I was going through because I was hanging around the wrong crowd. I was vulnerable. They took advantage of me, and I was like, no, they didn't do any of that. Everything I did it on my own. But parents, they're just trying to protect you. So when I told my, mom that I was transgender, she was like, no, you're not. And then she told my sisters, and my sisters just threw a basket, and they were like flipping a table. I'm being exaggerating, but they were quite. They weren't very happy about it. And what they did was they binned all my male clothing, and they tried to make me wear girly clothing and wear makeup and stuff like that. And I hated it. I really hated it. So at one point I said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. This is wrong. I should be who I am. And my mum was like, you can't be a male. You were born female. You can't change your sex. I said, yes, you can. But my mum wasn't having any of it. So what happened was I got kicked out, and I was homeless for 8 months. And at that time, I took on a role of my male persona, which actually not persona, sorry, my male role that I should have taken a very, very long time ago. And yeah, so what I did was I, you know, I went to the hairdressers. I said, right, give me a male's haircut. Got a male's haircut. Went to shops, bought male clothing, and because I was living in a hotel back then when I was kicked out, so I was walking. Everyone thought I was male until I spoke, and then when I had this really high pitched voice, and and the only thing I regret was losing my family, but I don't regret not going ahead and starting T or transitioning. So now I'm safe to say that you know 8 months later I've got my own flat. I've I'm hoping to go back into education soon. I'm doing my photography. I'm on testosterone, which is the main important thing. You know, And yeah, so that's how I knew I was transgender. So sorry if this is a very long video, but yeah, uh, yeah. So what's really interesting was I don't regret any of it except losing my family, which I've just said, and I'm repeating it altogether. I'm not editing this video, I'm doing it all in one go. And yeah, so I don't really actually. That's how I knew I was transgender. I knew when I was quite a young age. Figured it out um, when I was in my mid-teens, and I was like, okay, this is what I gotta do. I gotta change my sex, and then starting living the male role that I should have done a very long time ago, and now I'm doing it, and everything is great. I've got amazing friends. I've got amazing support, and I feel happy. So that's really good. I mean, if you're happy, you're happy. So, I'm gonna leave it like this. I just want to give a quick shout out to Mert, Justina, Puck, my new friend, um, Francesca, Kaylin, Sky, uh, Naz, Nick, who else? Susie. Yes, Susie, I remember you. And I can't remember anyone else. Okay, I'm just gonna say like, comment, and subscribe. Keep safe, people, and I will do another video soon. So, bye.